Board. Right now, there is an estimated at a $15 million deficit in our pension plans. The assets, as of December 31, were valued at about $42 million. The liabilities were valued at the liability side was valued at about $57 million as of June 30th of last year. Liabilities are not measured as often as the assets. That's the discrepancy in the time there. The asset consultant is an arm. We have consultants for both the assets and the liability sides. The asset consultant is an arm of Citigroup. The liability consultant is Hooker and Holcomb. In December, the Retirement Board hired Hooker and Holcomb as a second set of eyes for the assets. I believe it's good to have someone else have a second set of eyes looking at the assets personally, but frankly, I am not particularly happy with with Citigroup, the asset consultant, with their performance, and I believe I'm not alone, and it's evidenced by the hiring of a second asset consultant. Just for the people watching, as a reminder, neither I nor any council member vote on pension issues. We just appoint the members, and they have the authority over the pension plans. Another concern for the council will be funding the $15 million deficit, and while the market could come back, it could go down further or it could stay the same. And considering that U.S. monetary policy now exists in this mythical land where money grows on trees, and the U.S. fiscal policy is hyping the value, seems to me to be hyping the value of deficit spending, I'm not too optimistic about the market returning anytime soon. So as we move into the budget this year, this is going to be a real concern for possibly for, cash injections into the plan over the years to come. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Tim, very much. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess the question I have goes to, we have a manager for the asset side, and then we have a manager for the liability side, or looking at the liability side. I guess, when was that always in existence, or is that something new to come across? Has there always been two people that on the pension side?
Have we always split the roles, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there always two people there?
I don't know the answer to that.
What I can say, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong here, but what I can say is that for years we have had a consultant who has dealt with the asset side, and the liability side, it's an actuarial function that I'm assuming we've always hired somebody to do that because it's based on relatively complicated formulas. So we've always had at least two different groups, although it could have been within the same company at one point. I'm not sure.
It hasn't been, though.
It never has been. Okay. Okay.
If I can jump in front of you, Jim, the question then, what is Hooker and Holcomb's, are they a second set of eyes on the asset side as to accuracy or advice? I mean, are they an actuarial firm, or what consulting advice are they giving on the liability side, and what are they duplicating Citi's role on the asset side, or are they, do you know?
Well, Hooker and Holcomb, I'll call them a financial services firm. They have different branches within the firm. One branch or one division handles the liability measurement, the actuaries, and what we brought in is the asset consultant, which is in a separate division. Are they filling the same role as Citigroup? It is a similar role, but it is different to some extent, if I have my understanding correct, based on what the finance director had said. Like I said, I'm just being blunt about this. I personally don't think that we need two consultants at this point, but this is not something we vote on, and it's something that I do commend the town manager and his staff for having worked on this quite a bit, because it's been a delicate issue that we have made some progress on.
Maybe Jim, continue. I did mean to, but I apologize.
Well, where I was going at is, I'm going to the expense side of this. Who pays? Does that the money come out of the general fund to pay for that, or does it come out of the pension fund to pay for that extra consultant? That's one. And then if we find that there was, if we are indeed $10, $15, $17 million shy, how many years do we have to make up that money? Because it's a big deal if it's $17 million. How long do we have, and when do you think we're going to be exposed on that side of it?
The next measurement date for the liability will be June 30th of 2010. My understanding is that we should be funding it at that point. So in the budget this year, we could basically turn a blind eye to the deficit. I hope that we don't. I hope that we're, looking at it a little bit more than that. But there's just so many moving pieces here. It's tough. I just want to make sure the council is aware of this, because in my opinion, This is a huge issue.
In answer to your first question, Jim, the money for this consultant comes out of the assets of the pension plan. It doesn't come out of the general fund.
Thank you, Tim. Thomas? And Jim or Tim? Yep, Jim, go ahead.
Board of